Hi there, just a quick one this time. While writing the script for the next video, I came upon some things that didn't quite fit in there, or should have been covered better previously, and will now proceed to mess up the format of the series. Firstly, weapon improvement. Thanks in part to the quiver system, weapon improvement can be applied to the arrows instead of the bow, both because that makes more sense, and so that the player may switch between arrow types without use of one type impeding the use of others through durability degradation. Secondly, the ammunition system, which both arrows and throwing weapons can use. Similar to arrows, you could buy and equip one set of throwing weapons that provides endless use. This ensures the player always has a weapon left to use for melee, and removes the inconvenience of having to pick them all up again, or losing some, or having to buy various types because you can't find enough of the one type you do want, or not having enough weapons to get the best out of the multi-throw perk. An in-between option is for a set to provide a fixed number of throwing weapons or arrows that automatically refill once combat has ended. This gives back some limitation to projectile use in combat that can be overcome at the cost of carry weight. Fast and stealthy characters would synergize best with this, because they can more easily disengage from combat to resupply, whereas warriors would deliberately expend their projectiles first to soften the enemy up before finishing up with melee. Thirdly, poisons and enchantments would be applied to that one set of weapons or arrows, instead of splitting them into multiple stacks. This would also prevent wasted charge if you have fewer throwing weapons available than soul power to enchant them with. And I think I've also gone back on enchantments wearing off. For consistency, these arrow and weapon sets can be treated the same as all of the other weapons, with it being easier to just recharge the set normally without having to re-enchant them if they reach 0. And if you want to apply a new enchantment, you can just get a new set of weapons or arrows. Fourthly, archery itself. A problem with bows is that arrows shoot out from lower than how it is represented to you when you're aiming in first person. So when you're shooting from behind an object, arrows can collide with the environment when it looks like they shouldn't. And because of a difference between first and third person shooting animations, in third person the arrow shoots out from even lower, resulting in a larger area that the player just cannot shoot at with ordinary bow use, despite being under the same circumstances. And there's also the issue of arrows just passing through enemies' heads, that the player has to find out how to fix for themselves, because Bethesda won't. Similar to issues people have when alt-tabbing in Skyrim Special Edition. From what I've seen, environmental collision boxes are generally fairly good, but you will find occasional slip-ups, which is probably inevitable in an open world of this size. And it turns out that animated objects either have a fixed collision box or none at all. But come on, what idiot would try shooting at those? Lastly, the inventory menu. It occurred to me that there is something present in other games that is missing from Bethesda games, and it seems so obvious now. There is no sort by function. There's alphabetical order, which is what we have now. There's also by type, so weapons belonging to different skills can be separated out from each other, along with clothes, jewellery and armour, books, journals and notes, gems, soul gems, ores, ingots, animal skins, and so forth. And then there's also value and weight, possibly bundled together into a value to weight ratio, so you can quickly grab the best stuff in a container. X selects, triangle is for setting favourites, circle backs out, and could be held down to quickly exit the menu, no matter how deep in you are, and square takes everything in a container. I could go on, but to cut to the chase, the touchpad makes a good candidate button, as it is currently unused within menus, and would impede on the player the least in the event of a real-time container system being implemented. Anyway, that's about all for now. See you in the next one.